This is Shane, Hurricane Helms, inviting you to watch Rasslin Rage. That's Rasslin, Rasslin, Rage. And if not, what's up with that?
Oh!
It's going down!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Do it now!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Scream it out loud!
This is Rasslin Rage! Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade!
It's going down!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Do it now!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Scream it out loud!
This is Rasslin Rage! Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade!
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Before I got my mouth full of coffee.
What's up? Hello, everybody. It is Cody here from Rasslin Rage, Michigan Independent Weekly, Indie Idol, and I don't know, probably about 17 other things you want to put me on. That's cool. But anyways, I am joined by Krystal Lane. I'm going to ask her some questions about professional wrestling and House of Truth and many, many other things. But before I do that, anybody that is watching right now, or if you're watching this on replay, or however maybe you're listening on Podbean, whatever it is, please smash the thumbs up, like, follow, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, do all those things, and make Rasslin Rage your most awesome place to be in the entire world. So, Krystal, how are you doing today? And welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you letting me be here.
Absolutely. Let's see here. I want to make sure that everybody can hear you. So go ahead and you are training currently at the House of Truth with one Truth Martini. How far out are you from being sealed, stamped, and approved to head out and say, I can do a match?
We are about 3 weeks out. So it's getting down to the wire. So I think we got another week of learning to do, and then we get to do our matches. And once we do our matches, then we're good to go.
Well, that's great. I like that. Now, we were talking a little bit before we started, right? And you were saying, so before, I want to like pre-frame this a little bit. You are training, and so you start out with a group of people.
Yes.
I kind of understand where you're coming from on this, because I trained in martial arts, and I still know martial arts, but I'm not actively training right now. And I started with a group of people, and as we got higher and higher in the ranks, and in your case, the further down the line in training you got, people started to kind of go away, right?
Right.
Was it because it got harder, or what do you think?
I think it is because it gets harder, because this training, it really pushes you and, shows you what you're made of.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people come into it and, I know I came into it and was like, oh, it can't be that hard. And of course, I totally misjudged that, considering this is my third class that I'm going through. So I've been doing this training for a while. And I think it just shows you what you're made of and puts into perspective the determination that you have for it and how much you love it. Because if you let it get you down, and, it's just that much easier to quit. Me, I love it. So every time I've been put on the back burner, because I've had a couple injuries already, I just get more determined. And for me, there's no quitting in it because I love it too much. So,
okay.
But
that's so you have to have, not only do you have to have a physical toughness, but you also have to have a mental toughness to keep going forward.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I've learned so much already to know that they kind of go hand in hand, where you can have the mental toughness, but if you don't have the physical toughness, you kind of lack in it. But to have that physical and mental toughness, that's what gets you through.
Okay. How hard has, now Now I've had quite a few of the guys on from here, from Michigan, you know, and I've had a few of the ladies too. But I had one gentleman on who's, you know, he's a lovable psychopath that some of them know him by. He's been on the show quite a few times. And we've talked. If you don't know, he's been in the military. He was in the military. He is kind of nuts. And but he pretty much, he didn't say it was. He said that training to be a wrestler was almost harder than training to be in the military.
You know, I've heard that. I haven't been in the military, but I know that this is the toughest thing that I have ever done.
Yeah. You were in the military?
I said I haven't been in the
military.
military.
You haven't? I thought you said you have. Okay, no. I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Breaking news. Rasslin Rage exclusive. Oh, man, no. Sorry.
So I can't attest to it being that as tougher than being in the military, but for me, it's the toughest thing I've done. And it has made me grow as a person too. And that's another thing. It makes you grow as a person and find out who you are and what you're made of. Right. And that's the thing that I've loved about it the most, is that I've learned who I am and how tough I am. And I mean, again, like you said, you have to be a tough motherfucker to be able to do this.
Absolutely. Now, so you're in training.
Yes.
You said this is like your third class, you said?
It is my third class.
Like third class session, right? Not just your third class, like 1, 2, 3, like third sessions of classes, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
I've been training since July.
Okay.
So, you know, it's about 12 weeks. Well, I've been through three straight training sessions.
Oh, nice. Okay. Now, so here we are, you're training and what have you, but before all of this, before training with Hannah Henderson, hello to you out there. She's in the chat. Exactly what drove you to even seek out Truth Martini or the House of Truth to start training in professional wrestling?
So it's kind of crazy. I watched wrestling as a kid, you know, when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I would watch Monday Night Raw, and I would watch SmackDown, and I would like get up. I would dress up in my mom's heels and my clothes, and we had this long coffee table, and I would, you know, parade around during the show like I was a manager, helping these guys come out, walking down my coffee table like it was a runway. And so I always wanted to do it. You know, I'd throw myself over the couch like I was getting body slammed or suplexed or whatever. So I kind of just fight myself. And so it was always a dream, but I guess I didn't know that it was an attainable dream.
Right.
And then in like 2019, I kind of let wrestling go for a while because I went to boarding school and we weren't allowed to have technology and stuff like that. So I couldn't watch wrestling. Then I started watching it again, and I just said, this is what I want to do. Like, I was in college and I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, and nothing makes me more happy than wrestling. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. This is what I want to do.
Well, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And then I was going to, I was actually thinking of going out to Iowa to Black and Brave. I was going to do some training out there, but then I found House of Truth. And I said, well, before I go out to Iowa, let me just see what it's about, you know, see if I can actually do it.
Yeah.
And I stepped into Truth, and I don't plan on going anywhere. That's been home ever since.
That's awesome. And I mean, you know, there's a good history there at Truth School and Truth Martini. Plenty of people come in there to hang out and just kind of get some work in, you know, and stuff like that. So it's not like you're just getting just Truth Martini. I mean, you got Mysterious Movado in there, who's a very large part, you know, and just to listen to him talk sometimes. I mean, I've listened to a few of these interviews that he's done, and even some of the live videos he's done where he's talking about, you know, indie wrestling and traveling and different things like that. I mean, there's so much knowledge there. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's crazy to me, just every day learning from all the different guys that I've met through House of Truth, it has been the biggest hidden gem to me that, I mean, I couldn't appreciate it more. And like I said, every day finding more and more value in that place that I didn't even know was possible.
Right.
You know,
that's awesome. I like that. You know, you're appreciative, but you're humble too at the same time, and you're learning and you're absorbing like a sponge. You know, is there a point where you reached information overload during your training and you're just like, oh my God, my head's going to pop? Because like I recently started a new job, right? So, and it was, I've had experience in the type of work, but it was a little bit different, right? And at one point, my head was just going to burst with all this information, and I just didn't know what to do with it all. Was there a point when you're training where you felt like, oh my God, this is a lot?
I think so, but not in like my head was going to explode kind of way. It was more of an exciting, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, like, but I can't believe this is happening kind of thing.
Okay. I respect that.
Like there are some moments in class where I'll just be there taking my notes or whatever. Because for a while, that's all I could do was just take notes. And I would sit there on the apron and just like watch everything happening and be like, oh my goodness, like this is crazy that I'm learning all this and that this is what it takes to do this. And it's crazy that I even want to do this. But it's a good overload.
Yeah.
I like the overload.
Yeah. Good. You got to know how to, you know, even with the information overload, you got to know how to use it, right? Because I mean, you're going to be in front of a crowd. You're going to have a lot of excitement going on, a lot of adrenaline. You got to learn how to control it. You know, there's a lot to it, man. It's more than just whatever. And speaking of adrenaline and getting in front of a crowd, isn't there a match coming up with you in it very soon? I mean, like, we're talking like days, right? I mean,
I know. I think it's a week.
Yeah, it's like 8 days. 8 days away. TKW and Taylor.
It's crazy.
Tell us a little bit about what's happening in there.
So there's a women's gauntlet match for the first ever TKW Women's Championship.
Oh boy.
And I can't even believe that I get to be a part of that. I'm so ecstatic and so over grateful that it's crazy. Like, I mean, my first match is going to be a women's gauntlet match for the title. I mean, how many people can say that?
Right, absolutely. First ever.
First ever.
First ever. Nobody can ever take that away from anybody. I love that. That's the best thing. So you're going in this gauntlet match, and there's some big names in there. Like, first of all, let's back up a minute. Let's back up to TKW last match. There was a gentleman that gave you a very large amount of money to get you out of that match, right? And then after you leave, somebody else comes out. We get one Hannah Henderson. But after that, we get a Randy West. And I'm not really sure, and I've said this before, I'm not really sure the crowd knew what they were seeing there, but Randy West is an absolute like a legend in women's wrestling, in deathmatch wrestling, and all of the above, like you just whatever, right? But now here you are, you're in the gauntlet match for the first ever title, and now you're also gonna be in the ring with Randy West, and amongst others. You know, there's quite a few others in there, and one Hannah Henderson as well. What's the game plan? Just kick some ass and take some names, or what's up?
That's the plan. That's always the plan, right?
Right.
Is to kick some ass and take names. But, you know, it's also my first match. So I kind of have to show people who I am and what I'm made of and what I've been working for this whole time. You know, I think that's the nice thing is that I don't believe there are any other debut women in there. So, you know, kind of, you say the underdog, because nobody knows how I work. You know, they don't know what to expect from me.
Right. Well, you know, I pointed this out to Hannah when I interviewed Hannah, but you are part of a very small group here in the state of Michigan. There are not very many women wrestlers in the state of Michigan. There just isn't. You know, if you wanted to book an all-women show, you could get women from Michigan, but you're gonna have to go outside of Michigan to get a full card, right? You're gonna have to go, you know, and I don't understand it. I don't know why, because there's been such a huge push for women's wrestling all throughout, not just in WWE, but Impact, formerly TNA, who had probably one of the better women's divisions in all of professional wrestling for a long period of time. Then you got AEW now with a big push for women's wrestling as well. And I feel like what's holding them back here in Michigan? What do you think's holding them back? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it a lack of, you know, exposure for maybe they're not seeing it and they're not interested? What do you think? Well, what's your take?
That's the crazy part is I don't understand it either. Like even in training, there haven't been very many women that come through. I mean, like I said, I've been through three of these training sessions now, and none of them have made it out. And it's crazy to me. And I don't get it. I don't know if the women are going somewhere else. Or if the women in Michigan, if there aren't very many women in Michigan that want to do it. I don't understand it. Maybe they don't have the resources. It's crazy to me. I've been trying to figure it out since July, because I'd love to get some women in there to wrestle around with and to kind of see what I'm made of. The guys, I love the guys, but they're a little bit too gentle with me. So. Oh, you think?
Oh, here we go. You hear this?
I'm calling them out, all you guys.
The guys are a little too gentle with you.
They're too gentle. I think they're afraid of hurting me, which, hey, I've had 3 injuries. So, you know, I guess I would be afraid of hurting me too. But, right. You know, I'd love to get some women in there.
The truth comes out. Here it is, man, right here on Rasslin Rage. She says you guys are a little too easy on her, man. Oh, Lord. You know, and that comes with it said. Do you feel like there's any challenges that you faced besides your injuries? Obviously, you know, like we've talked about here. But is there any challenges either, you know, for you, you know, that you faced even as maybe a woman or anything, or has it been just, you know, not so smooth sailing, but everybody's treated you with the respect and what have you?
I have to say the guys have been wonderful to me. I couldn't ask for them to be any better to me. They've all been very accepting. I think the biggest challenge for me, honestly, has been myself, because I am such a self-doubter. I doubt my ability. You can ask anybody who knows me. So that has been the biggest thing, is to overcome myself and to know that I can do this. And that goes back to not only the physicality of being strong, but the mentality of being strong too. And that's the one thing it's been berating me the past couple months, is that every time I get hurt or every time I feel like I'm not doing good, you know, there's that doubt, like, well, maybe I'm not fit for this. Maybe I won't make it through.
Right.
But I mean, at some point I've just decided, that part of your mind, it doesn't know what it's talking about. So
I like that.
You know, got to suck it up and get through it, because I don't want to do anything else. So
absolutely. Well, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. You got to stay positive, think positive things will happen. Definitely. I just, man, like I remember, I mean, I'm a 2nd degree black belt in Tung Sudo, and I got like 8 years of training, and I remember when there were those times where like I can remember my 2nd degree black belt test, and I'm like at the end of it, and I'm doing the physical part. I just got done running 2 miles. I come in, I got to do sit-ups. I do 50 sit-ups. I got to do push-ups. I got to do 50 push-ups. And then I had to do like jump front kicks for a minute. And then I'm just dying, dude, like literally dying. Like, and you just want to give in, but you can't. And the people around you are supporting you, and they're yelling at you, and they're lifting you up. And I guess that kind of goes with the crowd and the people, and then lifting you up and making you dig deep. That's something I love about indie wrestling so much more than, say, like, going to the big leagues, is the fan interaction. And is that something that drew you to the wrestling scene, or even so indies? Because I know you, I think I've seen you at some of these indie shows before.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna lie. The very first TKW show was my first indie show.
Oh, okay. All right. I was there.
Yeah. And I don't know how I missed out on indies all these years, but it was the crowd reaction, the up close and personalness of it. And I fell in love with it right away. And I mean, after that, all summer, every show that I could go to, I was there because I wanted to be there. I wanted to be involved. I wanted to see it all happen.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I'm looking forward to, is getting out there and having that interaction with everybody, and, feeding from them, and, getting that energy. I want some of that energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited to get out there and to feel that and to experience that. It's one thing being in the crowd and, cheering and giving that energy, but to actually be in the ring to accept that energy, I can't wait. I'm excited.
Nice. I like it. Now, I will be there on the 20th, and I believe my cohorts will be there too. But a little bit outside of the wrestling realm, right? Is there something that, like, people out there don't know about you that you're not okay with them knowing, of course? I mean, like, don't tell us some dark secret. Like, I don't want to know if you have any dead bodies in your house or anything like that. But is there anything, that you could share with us that the fans might be like, ooh, I can relate to that?
Well, so it's funny because I think people get confused by the fact that when I came out, I said that I was from the streets of Detroit, because most people don't know that I actually grew up on the west side of Detroit in the ghetto.
Really?
Yeah, like bad area, and so that growing up, that whole experience, it was like the area where you had to be in by a certain time, because if you were out past the street lights, you never knew what was going to happen.
Nice.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that, and they don't know, I have this nice persona, and this sweet persona, but they don't know that there's actually a very dark side, that when she comes out, she's not a very nice person.
Oh, damn.
And that's just from a lot of years of living in the ghetto, and, having to almost be a minority. Because I grew up going to all African American schools. I was the only white kid in my school until high school.
Damn.
So it's actually nice though, because it gives me a different perspective of life.
Right.
I have kind of experienced what it's like to be that minority, and so I appreciate everything that I have a little bit more. So it's something people don't know though. They just think that, a lot of people just look at me and they're like, she's just girl from the suburbs. But no, there's this dark ghetto side that,
right,
when she comes out, it's hard to put her back in too,
right.
So.
I like it. Well, and that's something to know, because you can respect that. You know what I mean? It's not, don't take this the wrong way, but you start at the bottom and you got to get to the top, right? So when you get to the top, people can respect that because they remember how it felt to have to work their way up there. So I understand that. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, I'm a video game guy. I like video games, but I don't play a whole shit ton of video games. I play some, like I'll play Call of Duty and shit like that. But is there something that you do, like a hobby or something you do to keep you, besides wrestling, obviously, right? that you do that passes the time, or besides wrestling, obviously.
So I'm a huge fan of dance, actually. Growing up, I would take
really?
dance lessons. Yeah, dance lessons. I did tap dancing. In middle school, I did some hip hop dancing. I'm a huge fan of music and everything that has to do with music. And if I wasn't doing wrestling, I probably would be doing something with music. Like I was in choir. In high school. So anything music related. Unfortunately, I suck at playing instruments. I tried the flute. Tried to play the flute. That did not go well at all. That was like the biggest flop ever. But anything to do with music, you know, concerts, I'm a sucker for concerts. I will throw all my money at concerts.
There you go. What are you like? Rap, metal, or are you like a little bit of everything?
Oh man, I'm all over the place. It honestly just depends on the day. I'd have to say my fallback is probably rap, R&B, because that's a lot of what I listened to growing up. But I love pop. I love heavy metal. I love stuff from the 80s, 70s. You can even catch me sometimes listening to stuff from the 60s. 90s music, of course, because that's, you know, the decade that I was born.
Right.
So anything in the 90s just grabs me. I like some country. Country is not my favorite genre.
Yeah, not my, no.
Not
my thing.
Yeah.
Now, hey, if it's like outlaw country, like Hank Williams Jr., that's I'm down with that. But like this new, my baby left me, the lights are on, and I'm crying because I drink a bunch of beer. It's the same song, just rewritten like 15 different times. No, I'm good, dude. So
that's
anyway.
exactly what I'm always telling people.
Right.
I swear, I'm like, I don't get it. It's literally the same thing.
Right.
So, you know, it's not my favorite. I have a couple songs that I like, but definitely, you know, if you see me in my car, I'm definitely jamming out to some rap.
Okay. All right. So you talked about concerts. Like, is there someone that you went to like a bunch of times? Like, cause like my band growing up or even coming up was Pantera. And I've seen Pantera like 6 times, and then I've seen like offshoots of like different guys with Pantera a different couple times, right? So like Down and shit. So is there like a band that you, or a group or a rapper or whoever, an artist that you've seen a bunch of times that you were like, oh my God, they're coming. I got to buy tickets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So people are going to laugh at me, but I am a total Maroon 5 fan. Adam Levine, if somebody has his number, please hook me up because that man right there. So I've seen them when they come this summer. It'll be my 4th time seeing them.
Right.
I'm also a huge fan of Halsey. Anytime Halsey comes, I have to go see her. Seen The Weeknd a couple times. I love The Weeknd.
Got some
Great
good music.
artist.
Yeah, absolutely. Very virtual. Like he's all around artist. Like he's just not one thing, man. You know what I mean? I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And my best friend got me hooked on him because I was not a fan of his at first. And then she kind of dragged me to a concert of his. And I've been hooked ever since. Let's see. Who else have I seen a couple times? Wiz Khalifa.
Ooh.
Wiz Khalifa normally does like a
Did you get a contact buzz?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, not even a contact buzz, you know, because I'm smoking myself. So.
Right. Oh, okay. All right. Right on. I can dig that. Hello, Peter.
Yeah.
Be beautiful.
Yeah, he does this. He normally does a concert every summer. So anytime he's at DTE, I'm there.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think. I think that's the only people that I've seen a couple times. But I mean, I've been like G-Eazy. I love G-Eazy. I've seen him.
He's a good artist too. Yeah, I'm going to show my age here. Are you ready for this? The last concert I went to when we could still go to concerts, I think was Black Sabbath. And it was their last tour.
I'd love to go to a Black Sabbath concert.
It was Ozzy and the original Black Sabbath members, dude. And it was the last tour they're on. I think that's the last tour. I think that's the last thing I went to. I think.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Got to get you out there to a concert.
Yeah, I do. I need to get going, but it's, you know, we got to get concerts going again. Hopefully we're back at it this summer, huh? You know?
Hopefully.
Right. Now, do you have social media yet for you know, for Krystal here? What do you got going on? We got YouTube.
It's in the process.
It's in the process. Trust the process.
It's in the process. I know I've been slacking on that a little bit.
Okay.
But between work and training, you know, it's a lot. But it's definitely coming within the next day or two, definitely by the TKW match.
All right.
So everybody should look out for that.
Absolutely.
because Krystal is coming and I'm ready to show everybody what I'm made of.
Absolutely. Well, and I will tell everybody once we get that information, we will definitely share that out and put it in the group for the Michigan Independent Weekly group, which you can find down in the description, by the way. Just throwing that out there, cheap plug. So, you can check out Miss Krystal Lane in her debut on March 20th. I know it's in Taylor, but do you know where it's at, what the name of the place is? I know Peter B's in there. You can tell us, but do you happen to know the name of the place off the top? I know it changed. That's why I'm asking.
No. Peter's
Okay.
going to yell at me, but I don't.
Right. Well, if Peter B wants to throw it in there, we'll talk about it in a second. But awesome sauce. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you're just getting in, and I know it's a little nerve-wracking, because anytime you're doing something new, it can be a little, oh my goodness. And you're going to get out there and you're going to be in front of the fans, and we'll be cheering you on over there in our little Rasslin Rage MI-Dub group. And because there's a good group of us that hang out together. So definitely look forward to seeing that. Anything you want to put out there before we get out of here? And, anybody want to tell fuck off or anything like that?
No, not anybody to fuck off. I'm just so appreciative of all the support that the guys have given me over the past couple months. Because, those that have known that I've been so close to quitting and just throwing in the towel so many times. So I appreciate all the support that everyone's given me, but now everybody better watch out, because I'm kind of a tornado, and once you get in my path, here to fuck some shit up. So,
I like it.
TKW, fuck some shit up. TKW, Krystal's debut. I don't think the wrestling scene in Michigan will ever be the same.
All right. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check out Krystal Lane March 20th at Total Chaos Wrestling in Taylor, Michigan. Once I know and remember where it's at, I will let you all know. I don't remember the name of the venue this time because it was at the Taylortown Trade Center. Now it's somewhere else. But good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, make sure you smash the thumbs up. Make sure you share. Make sure you do all that good stuff, and we'll see you back here on Sunday at 7 p.m. for Rasslin Rage on the Rasslin Rage YouTube channel on r2youtube.com. The letter R, the number 2, youtube.com. We'll see ya!
It's going down.
This is Rasslin Rage.
Do it now.
This is Rasslin Rage.
Scream it out loud.
This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
It's going down.
This is Rasslin Rage.
Do it now.
This is